Hello, and welcome back to Mansour Studios. And whether it be to free will or to YouTube's autoplay feature, I'd like to thank you for coming to spend some time here. We'll be doing some more editing as usual. I went back onto my computer and dug up some more pictures I have not looked at in some time and picked out five pictures that I'll be editing or doing some touch-ups on. Let's see here. And let us get started. There's not really much story behind this picture here, besides the fact it was a walk in the park, no pun intended, in which I took this picture. And it wasn't until now that I realized maybe the reason why I took this picture was because this stump here, yes, this is a stump, looks almost like the city in the background. I found it kind of funny when I went back and found this picture. Here. So I don't have any grand scheme or aim with this picture in particular. I'm not going to modify its Kelvin temperature or try to do some fancy effects. I just want to make it look better than it is now, better than than its current state, or just see if it needs any modification at all. See here. So overall, it's a pretty solid picture. It has decent high lights, decent darks. It's mainly just the foreground and the background, so and foreground with a blurred background. So there's not really much to really change. Or say if the background was underexposed, it wouldn't really matter because it will be blurred, and your eyes will be focused on the foreground. See here. Okay, I see something going on here. So it's just right in this area here on the far right hand side on the stump. I want to leave out my grain merge because it makes it a shade too dark. I want to leave some definition in there, so I'll delete this layer, but I keep my hard light and darken and lighten only. There is no need for a brush here, so that'll be number one. Typically when I shoot these pictures, I shoot it with the intention of not having to do much editing. So whenever I edit, it's more like color correction. Okay, let's take a look at another. Taking it out into the park as usual. Good places to start. And I say when it comes to taking the pictures, it's a matter of trying to find something interesting out of the mundane. It's a good exercise to practice. So whenever you think you don't know or don't have any good pictures to take, that's a perfect time to try to take a picture, because it helps develop your eye for certain things and break out the mold. Because sometimes you might take the same picture just too many times or use the same exposure, and so there's not much variety there. You want to change it up and see, because it is an art after all, and art should evolve. If it becomes stagnant, then it's there's not really much to it. It gets kind of boring when it gets stagnant. So I open up with the usual, the darken only, the light only, the green merge, see what the picture is. Okay, interesting. A lot more rust than I thought there. You know, that's just the burn doing its thing. Okay. And so this is an interesting phenomenon happening here. On the last picture, I deleted my, just like the last picture, I deleted my grain merge. I'll do that here because, well, it's not really working out. Grain merge is a very interesting tool. It modifies and amplifies whatever is present in the picture. And so since there are a lot more midtones, no real darks, midtones you can say would be these shadows. It's not black and it's not necessarily white. It's a gray zone. So underneath these two bars here, You consider that a mid-tone. Same goes with the background shots. A high tone could be the lights below the railing near the concrete. And there's no real darks, maybe somewhere in the background, but that's blurred, and your eye doesn't really get there until you actually think about the darks. See here, I'll make a duplicate layer, see what extra things I can do with it before I move on. See. Yes, there we go. Oh, that's an interesting look. Explore this a bit longer. Yeah, no need. Yeah, this picture's good to go. Typically, unless I go in with a mission to emphasize a particular element within a picture, it would generally look a lot like this. Just touch it up, knock off that film off the picture, make it look fresh and pop out, because half the work has already been done when the picture was taken. Like here, if I would try to accentuate or like modify this picture in any big and meaningful way, the only thing I can say that will give it that kind of impact would be doing a selective color and have this pipe here in color and the rest in black and white, which is exactly what I'm going to do right now. So for this, I don't really need any layers, and knock out these layers. There we go. Let's see here. I think there's many ways you can do selective color. At this moment, I'm going to go do my, see here, hue saturation. Yep, this is the one. And target every color that does not contain blue and desaturate. Bingo. There we have it. Do a quick split view. Yeah. And this is an easy picture to do selected color with. If you were to try to use that same method I had done, it may not work out depending on your picture, because this pipe here with a very distinct color from the rest of the picture. Let's say if you had a lot of yellows, greens, and reds in the same picture and you try to use that method, green contains yellow, and you can find some yellow in a lot of red pictures. So if you take out, let's say, yellow for example, your greens can become dull and your reds will be a bit off. So unless you have a high contrast of colors, that feature there can pinpoint these colors so you can desaturate and keep the ones you want. So to do that, what I just mentioned, to get more precise picture, you need to change your selection before you do that. And perhaps I'll do a video on that someday. Okay, that's another picture. Bingo. Moving on. All right, at the fourth one. Okay. This was the one I initially intended to do a video on because there is a lot to fix in this picture. As you can see, it's a lovely landscape, but it's been tilted. Normally when I have a picture like this, I'll take it to another software called Pixlr to realign my picture and get that tilt out of there. However, as of late, I heard that Chrome will no longer be supporting Flash, and Pixlr requires Flash. And so, as of the recent days and months, perhaps, this format was a bit off, and I can't even use it properly. So, it's time to move on and do that in Gimp too. So, to do this, you first begin with rotating your picture. Right here in your toolbar, you grab this tool here, the rotate tool, rotate layer, and you click it. And then you simply rotate your picture, like so. Ignore the alpha layer back there, that'll be fixed in due time. Yep, and I get something like this, use a flat edge and make sure your lines are right. Yep, looks good, and we rotate it. Alright, so now is the cropping portion. I know the order in which you do this is very particular, because if you were to do the select before the rotation, then you're grabbing that particular piece of the picture and rotating on top of itself. You'll find these black lines along the borders in which have been rotated. So right now I'm grabbing my selection. I just want to grab the picture. We don't want the alpha layer in there, of course. So just know whenever you crop, you are decreasing the resolution of your picture because you're magnifying it to the original size after trimming off the edges. So you're making a smaller picture bigger, and if it's not taken that way in the first place, then it will naturally lose resolution because of stretching of the because you are stretching the pixels. There we go. Alrighty. So the key is you don't hit enter. You simply go to your image and you say crop to selection. Ta-da! Just like that, your image has been cropped in Gimp. No worries, quick and easy. Now I can edit like any other picture. I might use the dodge brush here. The shadow depends. Oh yes, this picture too has been taken at a park. A lovely childhood park. See here. Open up with the hard light. Then with the green merge. Yeah, that brings some nice saturation in there. But I guess now I got the green merge real quick. Yep. So I'm keeping the green merge regardless. So I am going to use that dodge brush in the corner side, mid side. There we go. In the mid side of the picture. Darken on it and lighten on it. At 50 opacity, of course. There we go. Those are some nice colors it brought out. Now then, we duplicate the base picture. Once again, we lock it. And we pull out our brushes. Fun fact, the dodge and burn tool in here is really just a virtual version of what you would be doing if you had film. So if you were burning your picture, you wouldn't be exposing too much light. Therefore, the picture would develop less. In dodging, you would just be shining more light onto your picture during the development stage in the dark room, because whenever you work with film, you'd be inside a room called a dark room. And so these are literally things you do while you're inside of that dark room to develop your picture. Which is a fun thing to know, because a lot of softwares really just replicate the original process. So if you never heard of the original processes that require when working with a picture, let's say photography for example, you really don't know the majority of the names for the tools in here. Let's see here. That's my layer, and I want to dodge, correct. Make sure I'm targeting shadows. There we go. There we go. That's another thing to note. What are you targeting? So this spot here was so dark that it can't count as a highlight, and therefore the brush can't work on it. So what you have to do is reselect your range, and then you can dodge it. So intuitively, the blacks here are your shadows. Those trees on the far right hand side over here can be considered your midtones, and your highlights. Oh my, don't do that. No, please don't do that. And your highlights would be your clouds. And the water is an interesting situation because the reflections gives it a status similar to a highlight, but there are parts of it that can be considered midtones. There we go. Wonderful. So without this layer, this is what the corner will look like. Bring it in. Much better. But now I see I need to change my brush a bit because right there you can see some dodging was occurring there. So it may work on a darker portion on your shadows, but if it enters a different tonal range of lights, it can become more apparent. So let's knock that guy out and change my aspect ratio. There we go. It's a bit more like a circle. And we dodge it. There we go. Before and after. I'm being very meticulous with this picture right now. So I get just right. There we go. Okay, I'm going to leave it alone now. Moving on. Now this one really wowed me when I went back to find some pictures. It has potential for a high dynamic range. I might try black and white, because there's actually a lot you can do when you take a picture on an overcast day, like one such as this, because it once again underexposes your pictures and further saturates it. So whenever you can do a lot of things when you oversaturate a picture, more so when you blow it out. Because if you would say do a black and white of a bright picture, well, those some pretty Clorox whites you have there. Yes, indeed. So I'm going to do some more experimentation on this picture. See what makes it stand out the best. On second thought, the yellows, I really like that yellow streak they have on that building in the background. So I might keep the color in, or try to do a selective color, but that will be a bit tricky because there are a variety of colors in this picture here. That just looks even better. So this is the grain merge. Boom. It amplifies everything that's already there. And then we hit it with the hard light. It brings in more shadows, but it further saturates the colors and makes it stick out. You notice the whites here are there's more contrast, so it really pops out now. Hit it with the darken only, which kind of filters it. And the lighten only. There we go, so it's not too harsh. So you get your original. And then the layers applied. So I'll keep it like this. This one is Lake Eola, downtown Orlando. Thank you for watching Mansory Studios, and that will be all for today. A pleasure having you.